Hey guys, welcome back to the Beautiful Day podcast. I'm Micah.
And I'm Faith, and today we are answering a question from an anonymous commenter on our Instagram. And they asked, I'm a sophomore in college and I'm having a hard time making friends. Any advice?
Yeah, and we thought this was a great question for us to answer because we have very interesting friendship experiences from college.
And very different.
Very different. I'm definitely an extrovert or an introvert extrovert, but still an extrovert.
And I'm definitely more introverted.
Yeah. So we were like, we can both just kind of take our own or say our own takes on this. So first off, making friends in college is hard. People don't talk about how hard it is. We were kind of lucky in a way because we went to a college that had this orientation program where we got to meet a bunch of people before classes started or even orientation started. So that was really cool. I have a lot of really good friends from 4 years ago. We met on that trip, which is really cool. We weren't in the same group, but we were kind of in like sister groups, so we saw each other all the time. But I definitely went through about 4 friend groups in college, and at the end I figured out that, you can have friends in multiple groups. But one of the first ones I had came from that trip that we went on.
That was kind of like my first group too, even though for me it probably only lasted about 2 weeks.
Mine was like 3 months. It like ended around like the holidays because we have like from November to or Thanksgiving to the New Year off. So mine lasted until then, and then it kind of went downhill, and that's okay. It happens all the time. A lot of the time, it did, like when friendships or friend groups like fall apart, it has nothing to do with you. It has lots to do with the other person.
A lot of it is not necessarily like one person's fault. Everybody just kind of drifts away. I feel like everybody has friendship changes. Like some people from that group even like left the school and went somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's just everybody is changing so much at that time in their life that it's just normal.
Yeah, and some people like don't always just want to be with that one group. Like maybe they're just like, oh, there's this one friend I like love and so I hang out all the time, but I don't love so and so as much, and so I'm just gonna like we can hang out but not as much as we have been. I think being very honest and communicating when that happens is very crucial because then people's feelings get really hurt if they don't know the truth of how you're feeling. And that happened to me. So just communicate. It's gonna come out in a way that kind of hurts anyway because you're telling the truth. So it's like not really gonna go well.
I feel like you had probably more drama the first couple of years, maybe with friend groups. I only had like one close friend for the first couple of years. I feel like that was kind of my pattern my entire life, to have like a really close friend and then maybe like more acquaintance type friends around that. But I definitely expanded off of that like as I got older.
Yeah, and I also like the older you get, the wiser you get, and the more you're like, I do not tolerate this.
Yeah,
like at all. Like by the time we became friends more our last year of college. We both just graduated, and so by the time we were like, hey, we know that we don't want this in a friendship, or like I don't know. We also had so much wisdom from like past friendships where we were like just kind of like, did you notice this? 'Cause I noticed this, and that's not okay. And so yeah, that was something. But by the end of your 4 years, you're gonna remember the people that like are with you through thick and thin, or like want to hang out with you on a Friday night and watch a movie with you, or go to a party with you, or like don't judge you for stuff. Those people that I like loved the most and still love the most because those are the friends you'll have your whole life, even if you don't see each other all the time. So yeah.
So where do you think, like in regards to the question, where do you think that you met the most friends that lasted?
I did way too much in college. First I'll say that I did way too much. But I was on the dance team. Our school was so small. It was so small, so like everybody knew everybody, and so I got very involved my first year in the dance team. I've been dancing since I was 4, 5. So I became a member of that, and then ended up leading it somehow my sophomore year. That was very interesting, and I wouldn't change it, but it was hard. Yeah, I definitely met the most friends when I was dancing on campus because you're doing different shows or having practice all the time. And also like leading them, you meet people who actually end up respecting you at the end. And if they don't, that's their own problem. But like I was allowed to be myself when I was around them, and I didn't have to change like who I was or what I was doing. And they knew that I meant business when I meant business, and that I was able to kind of like have fun and laugh with them, and having that like balance of like, especially when you're in a student organization, of like professionality, I guess, even though we're still young, but also that professionality versus like those are your friends. And like we literally would have like hangouts all the time my last year because we were just that close. So yeah, having like extracurriculars and getting involved in those, and I was involved in way too many, but I like knew a lot of people from a lot of different avenues, and then you can kind of build off those friendships and meet their friends and keep going from that. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that like once you make a couple friends and then trying to like see who their friends are and also meeting them, that's definitely a good way to like expand your circle if you want to.
Yeah.
Because if you're already friends with that person, you're probably gonna like their friends too.
Yeah, that's true. And like after my first friend group kind of imploded on itself after those first 3 months, I became friends with someone who I had met from a friend or like a friendship that I had met in another circumstance, if that makes sense. So it was like, oh, I knew them, and then that their friend and me got close, and so then that friend that I became friends with, we got close and we had our own friend group, and then that happened a lot, and it was like everything teaches you a lesson, and like I'm very grateful for those friendships that I had when I had them.
Yeah, because even I think that when I became friends with you, then you would invite me over to like parties with other friends.
Yeah.
Like I only knew a lot of these people from social media, but like because of Micah, I met them in person and they were really cool. So definitely like taking advantage of those opportunities and stuff.
Yeah. You also can definitely make friends in your classes. Like a lot of people that I like knew, like besides extracurriculars, I met in my classes. Like then we were messaging like, "Did you do the homework?" or "What page was this?" Or like, even people that I was really good friends with at the beginning of the 4 years, and then we drifted apart. We would message again if we were in the same classes together. So I think always finding that one or two people in that class, that was kind of how we became more friends our last year.
Yeah.
We had a class together in our fall term, and a lot of other stuff was happening, but also like we were like, oh, by the way, did you read this chapter? What did you think of this? I didn't like it. I didn't read it. You know, like different things like that happened a lot. Or like we would study together or like write papers together. We wrote a paper together till like 2 a.m. one time. That was a lot going on, but we did it. We knocked it out. But yeah, just having that one or two people in the classes that you're in to like, if you can, to like help you figure stuff out, and maybe can become your friends like long term too.
Yeah. Also, speaking of classes, if you feel like I feel like I was very introverted, so it was hard for me to even like make friends in classes when I didn't talk to anybody in class. And I feel like what I had to learn is just like sit by somebody else that's sitting alone. And you probably will get paired up maybe for something. Or just like look out for other people. You're usually not the only person that's alone in a class or like that doesn't have friends in a class. So if you just kind of try to peep like who's feeling like you, who seems anxious or awkward or alone, and sit next to them, or whenever there's a project, work with them. And they don't necessarily have to be like close friends outside of there, but it's someone that you can like smile at on campus, and I feel like that makes you feel a little less lonely on campus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also on top of that, I mean, this is not necessarily a making friends advice, but if you feel like you're lonely on campus, I feel like college is a really good time to become more independent.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, of course we went to college during the pandemic, and if I hadn't had those moments of like my friend groups like getting all jacked up and then having to go through that independence in those like lonely seasons, like I wouldn't have made it through the pandemic. Like respectfully would have not, because I always am talking. I'm always wanting to hang out if I can. But now I'm like, no, Mikey, you need to rest. You need to recharge, and it's okay to not be with people all the time. Like you're gonna, as an adult, you're gonna grow up and do that. Like once you get a partner or you have like the besties that you will have for your life, like you're only gonna really hang out with them sometimes, and sometimes you're gonna have to be alone. So
Yeah, like if you had a 20 friends or a giant group, I mean, chances are you're probably not all going to live by each other once you're done with college, anyways. So it's good to have those connections, but you might not see them that often.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Even my high school friends that I made, like, I see my one close friend like once a month, if that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I'm like lucky that I like live down the street from my high school best friends, but also we're all working and like still doing stuff, and so like the last time I saw them was like 3 weeks ago for a joint birthday thing, and we have like text message groups and like Snapchat groups, but like we don't see each other all the time, and like that's okay because we know that we love each other still. We know that we're basically family. It's just like we are busy people all the time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that they don't like you. It doesn't mean that like that's another thing of like communicating like I cannot hang out with you right now. I cannot do this for you even though I really want to because I need to put myself first or I need to do this for me. You have to learn that like what's best for you may not always seem like the option that you want to go for.
Yeah, and going off of that, I feel like working on yourself is also just a place where you can organically meet new friends.
Yeah.
Like, if you find yourself lonely on campus and you're just in your dorm all the time, like start going to the gym or see if your gym has like little classes that you can take. Mm-hmm. Like go to the library and sit in a more populated area and just like work on your own personal independence and confidence because I feel like that's just when you're learning about yourself more and automatically you'll just meet people. Or if you don't meet that many people, at least you are like best friends with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are just like, I want this crazy experience with all these friends and we're partying every single weekend. And I feel like we kind of had a toxic ex-friend that was kind of like that, like very insecure, wanted just a bunch of friends and a bunch of friends is what made her feel valid and being liked. And I feel like it's important to be friends with yourself first and don't feel like your worthiness is based off of your social circle.
Yeah. And there's a quote that one of my really good friends from college, I think it's from RuPaul, I'm not 100% sure, but she said it all the time, and it was like, the only person you're going to be with 24/7 is yourself. Mm-hmm. So why not like yourself first? Like, why would you not like learn to love yourself if that's the person you're going to be with your whole life?
Yeah. Your life will be miserable if you're not comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
And I feel like we both know people like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyways, I hope that answered this person's question and anybody else who's been wondering about making friends in college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just hope that was helpful in any way because we had to learn some things the hard way. So it's always nice when there's people that can give you advice to not have to do things the hard way.
And you're not alone, too. I feel like that's important to remember. I feel like when you have no friends on campus, it can make you feel isolated. Like, I'm the only person that's not having fun. But trust me, probably even the people in those big groups feel like that.
Yeah, wait. The last thing I'll say is, like, if you are, like, feeling lonely and you're, like, wanting to reach out to someone, just do it. Like, the worst thing I can say is, like, no. Like, I know, like, anxiety and fear will make you think, like, oh, my God, like, they're rejecting me. Or, like, I shouldn't be asking this because they don't even really like me that much or they don't want to hang out with me. But, like, just do it. Like, there are so many times where I went out on a weekend because I texted someone who just happened to be like, oh, my God, yeah, like, let's do it, you know? Like, and they were by themselves on that Saturday. And so we ended up, like, hanging out and then, like, friendships blossomed from that even more. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone.
Most people are nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Most people who are normal are actually nice. And they'll even say, like, I've had people who be like, oh, I'm actually doing this with so-and-so, but if you want to come along, you can. Or, like, oh, not tonight, but, like, tomorrow we can do something. Like, if they're a horrible person, you'll know by the way they respond to that question. But, which means you probably shouldn't hang out with them in the first place. But the people who are, like, nice and normal, like, they'll say a couple of those types of responses, and it'll be nice.
Yeah.
So don't worry about reaching out to someone, even if it feels awkward.
And if not, you can always have a little at-home movie night in your dorm.
Exactly.
Get some pizza or even some food
Yeah.
from the dining hall and watch a Netflix movie.
Yeah. Also, hang out in your common spaces
Yes.
the first couple of years if you're living in dorms, because I made a lot of football friends.
That's actually a good one, too. I don't know if we'll put this in the final cut. But, like, Loki, just getting a little tipsy can make you make friends so much easier.
Yes.
Especially if you have anxiety. Like,
you're like an
only if
extroverted
you're
person.
legal, though.
Yeah. Let's not. But, like,
take the edge off.
Yeah, because even though I'm extroverted, like, it would still be kind of nerve-wracking to meet new people. So, like,
but not too tipsy.
Not too tipsy. Not to the point where you are, a lot's going on.
Know your limits.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we hope that answered your questions or helped anyone in any way.
Yeah.
And
ask more questions on our Instagram if you have any more advice that you want us to give you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we hope you guys have a beautiful day.
Yeah. See you.
Bye.